to talk to me, not to change my mind, otherwise there's going to be bloodshed. So in order to avoid bloodshed, I must accept what I earlier said, and also leave the country. That I should leave the country and take a break. Who are they to tell me to leave my country? Because if I stay around, I may interfere with the democratization process. This country has been independent since 1965. And they want me to leave my country. Who are they to tell me to leave my country? So this is the situation. I sent representatives. I was told, I made it very clear what my position is. They said they're going to have a meeting. But apparently, the document we got from a foreign government asking me to leave or there will be bloodshed, and that they are sending those people. They are sending those people. The names, the countries were listed that even before we got official notification that they are coming. So they came and I explained to them. They met with me first and then went to meet the other side. They came back and said, well, yes, despite all what you said, the results they announced are the will of the government people. Now, how the hell do you know that this is the will of the government people? When 360,000 have not voted, 40% of the registered voters didn't vote for the first time. You tell me this is the will of the government. And they made it very clear that they made a mistake by transposing all votes cast in an administrative area to Adama Barrow, thereby swelling his votes nationally. They didn't say regionally, they said nationally. They said, well, you know, we spoke to the IEC, we spoke to the other side, and this is the will of the government. I made it very clear I will not accept it. And that's where I stand. They said they were going to have a meeting in Abuja Saturday, and they asked me whether I would attend. I made it very clear I'm not attending, but I'm sending a representative. Now, already the meeting was a formality. In fact, before those people came, the Ecowas group, you see headlines saying, UN said Jammeh must step down immediately. The so-called president-elect also was embodied and saying, no, Jammeh must step down immediately. I will not step down. Because this is disrespectful of our constitution. This is a transition period of 60 days. Even if he had won legally, I have 60 days transition to hand over. So, what is the role of the UN to now go around and say, Jammeh must step down immediately? And then they also brought foreign security for him. Without informing me, I'm still the president and commander-in-chief of this country. They brought foreign security to secure him because he has no confidence in the Gambia armed force. So anyway, to cut a long story short, this is what has happened. And we made it clear, I made it very clear to the delegation that came. In fact, I think it was, they called they told me to send a representative, only for the representative to be told that, yes, we ECOWAS, there are also other ECOWAS members that do not that disagree with this decision. That yes, Jammeh must hand over, and on the 19th of January, we ECOWAS, all ECOWAS heads of state, be in Banjul, see the inauguration of the president. ECOWAS. This is violating one rule that says non-interference in the internal matters of countries. And now ECOWAS trying to force me out, which will not happen. I'm ready for anything. And unless the court decides, there will be no inauguration on the 19th. And let me see what ECOWAS can do about it. I cannot be threatened, and I will not be threatened by anything. It's not only ECOWAS, but those powers behind ECOWAS. Let them come, they will find me here. We came to defend this country, the dignity of Africa, and we stand by that. What is wrong? And what did they say? Knowing that we have a strong case, they said, irrespective, in fact, we should not go to the court. And irrespective of the court decision, if you proceed, they know that I'm going to proceed. Irrespective of the court decision, they will enforce the December 1 election result. Let them enforce it to them, see. What are they waiting for? So this is the situation. I will not be intimidated by any power in this world. I want to make sure that justice is done. I'm a man of peace, but I cannot also be a coward. My rights cannot be violated and intimidated to a point where I succumb to blackmail. I will never do that. So this is my position. All what we want is a peaceful resolution of the conflict by Gambians based on the constitution of the Gambia. Now, if Ecowas decide to disrespect our constitution, they will find me ready for anything. I'm not afraid of anybody. So this is the situation. In as much as I don't want any violence, but if any conflict is imposed on me, I will take it in great stride and I will win. Because I have the Almighty Allah, I have my confidence in the Almighty Allah, that Allah wants justice. But now they made a decision that no matter what the outcome of the court is, we will enforce the December 1st result. After, they have all these documents that this document about. So my brother, this is the situation. I want to thank you for coming. I'm a man of peace, but that doesn't also mean that I will not defend myself and defend my country. And defend my country courageously, patriotically, and win. Emerge victorious. Nobody can deprive me of that victory, except the Almighty Allah. So this is the situation, and I want to thank you for the work that you are going to do. You also have permission to meet any side. To meet any side. But I want you to understand that there are patriotic sides and those that are working for foreign agents. I have many crimes that I have committed with regards to the superpowers. One, I stand to say no when it is not right. And I stand to make sure that Africans will not be insulted because we are black. And I make sure that Africans' resources are not remote controlled. Because we have so many resources and we are the poorest of the poor. And we are the ones, our citizens are the people that are mistreated outside of Africa. When they talk about non-acceptance of refugees, basically it's Africa refugee. We also took the EU to the IEC for the killing of African youngsters on the European coast. And they said they would teach me a lesson. Interestingly enough, the ICC didn't do anything about it. First letter we wrote, there was no response. When we asked, they say, oh, well, there are two ways to do. One way you write, that means you, the government, will conduct the investigation and put the facts before the ICC. But this way where you write, you use, which you write, and then the ICC would conduct their own investigation, which is more advisable. So we changed all that, and we didn't hear anything. And that's why we left the ICC because they were happy to prosecute Africans, but not Europeans. So a court, an international court that is only bent on persecuting Africans, we will not a member to that. So there are so many factors. We left the Commonwealth, and they were angry with me because we didn't want Gambia to be seen as a colony of Britain. Colonialism has ended. You have the Foreign Secretary of Britain making comments about the Gambia, deciding what should be done about the Gambia, which was unacceptable. We have always realized that the Commonwealth is a neo-colonialist institution. But we were bidding our time thinking that we can reform it within to make sure that it represents everybody's right, only to realize that we all go there as governors and not heads of state. I decided to leave the Commonwealth. We cannot be colonized twice and we will not be enslaved twice. These are some of the reasons. The other reasons are also related to natural resources, but I won't go further into this. because when I refuse to accept 5%, that is for the oil, 5%, that means 5 cents for every dollar for 35 years. I was told there will be regime change. I say, oh, if God says so, I'll be worried. But because you are saying so, now I'm not even accepting whatever offer you give, unless it is 50-50. You could have been exporting oil before other countries, but this is the problem. As you stated about Gabon, this is the reality. You know what Charles Taylor's crime was? They said it's true that he got involved in this conflict, but that alone wouldn't have warranted his arrest. It was when they discovered, I think, some minerals, and they offered him the 5 cents per dollar, and he refused. They told him regime change. And so, when there was regime change also, they wanted to make sure that, because they use intimidation for other African leaders to say, oh, you see what happened to this person. And that's why they took him to ICC or whatever, or the tribunal. So also, other heads of state that have minerals that are very expensive, they are the major producers, but they are the poorest of the poor countries in Africa. When a particular head of state in West Africa said he was going to make sure that they have, when he saw the price of uranium, and said, this is unacceptable. What these people are giving us is bitter, it's an insult. At a meeting in Libya, he made a comment, and I told him, my brother, I know you don't like me, because he said, you know, sometimes we thought you are crazy, but when we go back and listen to what you say, reflect on what you say, and look at our reality, we know that you are a Pan-African. And I thought, well, I'll tell you, and he said, this is unacceptable. I said, okay, well, but be ready for one thing. They would overthrow you if you are not strong. And so he decided to reverse and wanted to open it for anybody who is interested. His former colonial master said, anything that belongs to our former colonies, in terms of minerals, we have the first choice. First choice of, in law you say refusal. Yes. So if you want to change, we have to negotiate. They gave him an offer which was unacceptable. And they made it very clear that that is why we have basis. So the situation is this. If you stand up for defend your God-given resources, you are in trouble with those people that still believe that by virtue of their color, they are superior to anybody who is not their color. And so, this is the situation. Who is the EU to say that whether, no matter what happens in the court, the December 1st elections will be enforced? In Austria, didn't they go back to the elections? Austria, when the far right, they said the far right lost narrowly by a percentage point. The far right came back and said, no, didn't they go to court? And the court allowed them to go back to the polls, whereby the far right won and they accepted defeat this time, that it was true that they lost. So if for Europe for the West they will always call for peaceful resolution of conflict. And in Africa, they want violent, in fact, that is a resolution, because once you think of adding petrol into a fire, thank God there's no fire in this country. This is how they destabilize our countries. Put one against the other, as one of you said, brother against brother, whatever. Because that is how they get our raw materials, our natural resources, free of charge. So, and unfortunately, it took us 9 years to 10 years intervention in Liberia to resolve the crisis. Whereas the war has ended, the economic crisis. So in all countries like Sierra Leone and others, this is what has happened. Now, if this is what they want for the Gambia, I hear them. But I don't believe what they are saying. I believe in what Allah is going to do. Allah would judge peacefully, justifiable manner, based on the laws and constitution, based on any outside or any constitution or any power. As I said, this conflict cannot be resolved peacefully if threats are being made. When institutions concerned disrespect the facts. This is where we are. So you are, once again, you are free to go to any court and find out what you need. This is all what we are saying. I'm not declaring myself. All I'm saying is what we want is to come.
Excellent.